Cup. He's got some legs in him to run the midfield. For Singapore, it's the same starting 11 that Bernd Stange has placed his faith in. Same starting 11 that took the field against Thailand and did pretty well until that capitulation in the second half, the final 15 minutes of that match, when they gave away a silly penalty, only to lose it by 2-1. So because of that, they put themselves right behind the 8 ball, and a defeat tonight would signal the end of their hopes of defending the crown, which they won in 2012 under this man, Radi Abramovich, who's got a birthday in 3 days from now. He will take to the pitch knowing that a draw would still very much put the qualification firmly into their hands, heading into their final game against Thailand. A game between Thailand and Malaysia kicking off almost simultaneously, just a little more than half an hour before this game. So no looking around and peeking at what the opposition is doing, because it will all be placed on the shoulders of these players on the pitch. Khairul Amri scored the only goal of that game against Thailand in that 1-2 defeat. He scored against Myanmar as well in Bernd Stange's first game in charge for Singapore. They won by 2-0. Two of those goal scorers are in the starting 11, Saiful Issa and Khairul Amri, who got those 2 goals in the space of a minute. That was in 2012, that was in 2013, here in 2014. Myanmar have only qualified for 1 semi-finals. In fact, they haven't done too badly. In fact, they haven't done too well when it comes to the qualification over the last few years. It has been missing in their game. In fact, they haven't done too well over the last few years. It has been missing in their game. Too well after they've scored 56 goals in this tournament, but only 8 in their last 4 editions, just 3 in the last 2 editions of the Suzuki Cup. They haven't won a second game of the tournament since 2002, when they beat Philippines by 6-1. And they found scoring goals very hard to come by. They haven't scored a goal in 307 minutes of football in the Suzuki Cup, and that came from a penalty by Chi Lin against Vietnam, their opening game last edition. So, and it's now no goals in 527 minutes from open play. The last time a Myanmar scored from open play was in 2010. Chin Mong Lin is his name, and he is their captain for tonight. That goal, by the way, came against Singapore. They led by a 0-0, only to be done by an Alexander Duric equalizer and a late winner from Agu Kashmir. Nix will be the 25th goal scorer. The build-up to the season Suzuki Cup hasn't been too bad, though. They took part in the AFC Challenge Cup, and their youth team is really going through a renaissance, getting some very good results in the AFC Under-19 tournament held recently. They actually qualified for the semi-finals, thus bring them into the FIFA Under-20 World Cup next year for the very first time. 2 of those players were involved in that squad, have been picked on and called for this tournament very, very late on. One of them's on the bench, in Chang Mong, who was their top scorer in the AFC Under-19 competition. So Min Oo is also on the bench. He has been a player who's been scoring goals for fun in recent years. For Singapore, Fazlul Nawas, who himself has got a goal against Myanmar in the SEA Games in 2005. He might come on to make another Suzuki Cup appearance. He was the last Singaporean to score a goal outside of came on to very good effect in the game against Laos in the last Suzuki Cup. He notched a priceless go-ahead goal. Notched a priceless diving header. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is Myanmar, all in white against Singapore, all in red, at the cauldron of the new national stadium. And Singapore keep faith with the same starting 11 that started that match against Thailand. Actually doing pretty well until that last-minute capitulation of giving away a penalty with 2 minutes to go, losing that match by 2-1, and because of that, they're behind the 8 ball, knowing that it's win or bust. A draw might still give them a slim glimmer of hope of qualifying for the semi-finals, but a win will definitely propel them above Myanmar and in better spot, of course, putting qualification back into their own hands going into the final matches. Myanmar just make one change to the side that drew 0-0 with Malaysia in the first match. Chi Lin has been sacrificed, used as an impact player for this game. In his place comes Cho Zaya Win, who will be lending big support down the flanks for Cho Ko. Min Min 2 will be the stem right behind Cho Ko. It's Nanda Lin Chorchit, Koko, and Zaya Win who've got the firepower to get goals for this team. Getting goals is something that has been a premium for Myanmar through the last couple of Suzuki Cups. They haven't scored a goal in 307 minutes in the Suzuki Cup. The last goal they scored came from the penalty spot. Chi Lin getting that goal for them at the last tournament against Vietnam. From open play, well, they haven't scored in 527 minutes. The last time they scored a goal from open play, it was their captain Chin Mong Nguyen tonight who scored, and it came against... Okay. Hello and good evening, whichever part of the world you're watching us from, or whichever part of Southeast Asia. This is rush hour of the 2014 Suzuki Cup as Singapore and Myanmar march into this furnace with the Singapore President Tony Tan witnessing the occasion. This is the Kallang National Stadium. Both teams know that qualification is still very much in their own hands, more so with a win today. Group B under the microscope. And with the Thailand-Malaysia game kicking off just a little more than half an hour before this, heads will not be turning to see what the opposition is up to. It's a pressure pot here, and if you do not feel anything as a player tonight, you're not a human being. Singapore need to win this in order to keep alive their semi-final hopes, while Myanmar know that a draw would not be too bad. They'll probably have a footprint in the semi-finals if they win tonight. But a draw would certainly put control into their hands going into their final game against Thailand. It's an emotional return as well to Singapore for Radi Abramovich, the Myanmar national coach, who won all his titles with the team that he is facing tonight. But there will be no sentiment, and he's already fired the first salvo by saying that the Lions will be under pressure. This is the Myanmar starting 11, and he has decided to leave out Chi Lin from the starting 11. Cho Zaya Win, who's had an injury-laden last couple of seasons, is fit enough. He missed the qualifiers, but he comes right back in the number 7 to take Chi Lin's place. So he's got goals in him, so too does Cho Koko and Nanda Lin Cho Chit. The substitutes, which includes, of course, Chi Lin and Nen Chan Ong, the number 32, one of two players who was part of the FIFA AFC Under-19 semi-final winning team from Myanmar, qualifying for their very first FIFA Under-20 World Cup, which will be held next year. The referee is from Uzbekistan, Ilgiz Tantashev, and he'll be assisted down the lines by his compatriot Sirajuddinov Ruslan and Alumri Fahad Awaidai of Saudi Arabia, with the fourth official coming from Turkmenistan, Kurbanov Charimurat. Singapore have a 100% record in the Suzuki Cup against their opponents tonight, and coach Bernd Stange has decided to keep faith with the same starting 11 that played against Thailand. 8 of these players were given their first caps by the coach they're facing tonight, and 2 of them, Saiful Issa and Khairul Amri, scored the goals the last time these two sides met last year in a friendly game. On the bench, they've also got a goal scorer against Myanmar before. Number 10, Fazrul Nawaz, scored against them in the 2005 SEA Games. Zulfami Arifin was used, so too was Gabriel Kwak the other night when they played against Thailand. That's the main man in the middle, who will be tasked with a watchful eye on a tie that can get very fiery at times. Last time it was held in Singapore, of course. These two sides met in 2004 in a semi-final, which turned very ugly into extra time, where the Myanmarese players got themselves sent off. Here he is, Radi Avramovic, the most successful coach ever in the Suzuki Cup. He won all his titles against Singapore, so he knows all the charges that he's facing against. A win tonight would give him a perfect birthday present. He turns a year older in 3 days' time. Might be looking forward to another semi-final appearance if his charges go according to plan. He's a wily tactician. I'm sure he's planned very well already for the Republic of Singapore. Well, his opposition is Bernd Stange, the first German to coach the Singapore national side, and he's got very good memories of Myanmar as well. Myanmar was the team where he took charge of his very first tie as Singapore coach, and they won by 2-0. 2 of the goal scorers that night are on the field of play, Khairul Amri and Saiful Issa, who got things going, of course, that night with a wondrous free kick. And those 2 combined for Singapore's only goal in this tournament so far. They scored against Thailand, with Khairul Amri expertly converting a cross by Saiful Issa. Well, the number 35 holds a significance to Myanmar tonight. This is not only their 35th match in the Suzuki Cup, it's also the 35th meeting between Singapore and them. And it's been 35 years since they've beaten Singapore. There he is, Bernd Stange. Repeat of that 2013 performance, that 2-0 victory in Yangon will be all that he's asking for. And on the bench beside him tonight as well, Aidi Iskandar, who was part of that ugly affair in 2004, when his fellow defender S. Supramani was smacked in the head by a water bottle by a Myanmarese player. That's all the build-up. Now it's up to the players to write their own chapters on the pitch. Win Ong, clever turn from him, man who started all the games in the qualifiers, trying to feed the ball behind the Singapore defense. Myanmarese forwards have got a lot of pace in them, so they're trying to catch the centre-backs napping. By Haki Kaizan, needs to be a bit more alert than he was against Thailand. At fault for the first goal, and then replaced at half-time because Bernd Stange felt he couldn't keep his tempers in check. He was afraid that he finished the game with 10 men. Sharil Ishak forced to go backwards. Here is by Haki. Touch on to Ismadi Mokhtar. Didn't disgrace himself. Safwan Barudin had the most touches the match against Thailand, and it was a decisive touch of his hand as well that gave the Thais a penalty 2 minutes before the end, resulting in a 2-1 victory for the War Elephants as the White Angels earned a free kick early on. It's David Tan, who scored a goal against Singapore when they met in 2012 in a friendly, finished in a 1-1 draw. So 35 years of hurt, although Myanmar will be the first to tell you. As they look for the goal, here's David Tan. That's an open goal. It would have been offside anyway, but that was an open goal, and he was saved by the assistant referee's flag because it would have been an easy tap in for him, and the coach would have been kicking him if he had just missed that one. He will turn to the coach now and say, I knew all along it was offside anyway. Was this offside in the first place? That one wasn't. Oh, he's almost on line with Safwan Barudin, wasn't he? That's a silly, silly kick out then by Nanda Linchorchit, because he should have put the ball into the back of the nets easily. That was a tap-in, and that's a huge warning fired out to Singapore already. And the so-called underdogs in this tournament, at least in this group, are not going to just lie down and let you attack them. Chin Mong Luin, their captain, scored against Singapore in 2010, the last time these two sides met in the Suzuki Cup. Singapore have a 100% record against Myanmar in the Suzuki Cup, winning twice in 2004, then again in 2008, and in 2010. They met almost in similar circumstances in 2010, when they conceded a last-minute equalizer to Philippines in their opening game, and then conceded early on against Myanmar, before coming back to win by 2-1 by Haki. Early touch, was that going to be a free kick? The Uzbekistani official agrees. Gives Singapore an early free kick. Shahril Ishak scored one of the goals the first time these two sides met in the Suzuki Cup. So 4-3 win. Back then when Myanmaris were still banned from playing in their home ground, and they had to play at the Bukit Jalil Stadium in that semi-final first leg. Free kick easily headed out. Goalkeeper didn't call. Otherwise it would have been a clean catch for him. Bustling at the moment in midfields, going the way of the Myanmaris, who look much more comfortable on the ball. Haris Haron tries to be sparkling as he always is. Winong in the end, guilty of holding the ball in a legal position, dangerous position. Haris wins another free kick. Well, the first one was speared in too straight, too easy for the Myanmaris defense to deal with. Let's see whether this has got a bit more of an angle to it. Nanda Linchorchit. Big first chance of that match, which was caught for offside at the end. This one's gone to Safwan. He had the opportunity to head it across the box. Maybe he could have gone for that instead of straight at goal. TRC2 with an easy catch at the end. Really hoping to make amends for the penalty he gave away. Look at that. Options inside the penalty box. If he had headed it right across, Shahril Ishak was in acres of space just inside the 6-yard box, waiting to pounce. There he is, left of your screen. Safwan slots that one in the air to Koko. Easy catch at the end for Hassan Sani. Here he is, Cho Koko. He's been the talisman for this Myanmar side in all of this year. Break is on for Singapore. Haris Ramli wants the ball played back to him. He's made a dashing run inside. I think he's learned from his errors, because against Thailand he had an opportunity to square the ball to Shahril Ishak, but he took a shot at goal. This time he went for the former. Couldn't find his captain. Khairul Amri released him, knew that he's got burning pace to take them all on. But the Myanmarese defense were keeping a very close watch on the best player at the last Suzuki Cup. Corner to Singapore. TRC2 has got to watch. Baihaki goes near post. That's a very poor corner. It does land up on the feet of Baihaki. Another chance to swing this one in. TRC2's lost possession of the ball. I think the assistant referee's flagged for offside. Singapore players are claiming that the one who was in an offside position didn't get involved. The decision has already been made. So it's a good response from the Lions. Having had Myanmar give them a real scare in the opening 3 minutes, they've come right back with a couple of dead ball situations, which has tested this Myanmarese defense. Back they come again with Sahil Suhaimi. Khairul Amri wants the ball. Shadan Sulaiman with a chance to volley this one home. He got it all wrong. Absolutely wrong then. He won a corner, claimed it was last touch by a White Angel. That was the situation when you needed ice-cold veins. Unfortunately though, it was lukewarm. The move was perfection. And I tell you what, that was on target. It should have been a corner. Shadan Sulaiman's got every reason to claim that and cry foul. Well taken down by Nanda. Koko releasing Nanda against Smaidi Mokhtar. Nanda Linchorchit couldn't get the angle for the cross. It's going to be a throw for Myanmar. It's a magnificent open game that we have here. It's always this way, not the sort of tentative displays that you'll get in the opening games of the Suzuki Cup. So it's going towards the business district already. Especially with the case of Singapore, have got themselves directly behind the 8 ball with that opening match defeat against Thailand. All the way back to Mintut, David Tan. Clever, off the ball running, especially from Win Ong, trying to release Zaya Win. Lisa marshals that one out of play brilliantly enough. He is. Win. He's had an injury-laden last couple of seasons. Actually signed for Perak in the Malaysian Super League. And had his contract cancelled before going back to his club side, Kamboja. What a return he made as well midway through this year. Scoring in his first 4 matches, returning to Kamboja. Haris Harun did well to win the hustle, then couldn't keep possession. Easily back to Ongzo. This is Chin Wong-luin. Goals have been at a premium for this Myanmar side in the Suzuki Cup. As by Haki Kaizan, gives that one away needlessly. Haris Harun covers up for him. Is that going to be a free kick? And it's another yellow card, which will mean that by Haki will miss the final game. Bernd Stanger is going to be keeping a very close watch now on his most experienced defender. His vice-captain's got himself into the referee's books just as early as he did in the match against Thailand. This time it was an off-the-ball incident. So have a look at it again. I don't think you can see it from there. There we go. It's obstructing him. He needn't have to do that because Haris Harun had almost covered his tracks already by winning the ball back in midfield. It's the amount of respect they've shown to the man who will turn 22 next month, Shaw Koko. They know that he's got the pace to kill you, and he scored most of Myanmar's goals. 65% of Myanmar's goals in 2014 have come from Shaw Koko. The number 10, Hassan Sani, current local league, Singapore League Player of the Year, first goalkeeper to win it. Now has to organize the wall. Koko's behind it. It's usually taken by Chilin, but he's on the bench. Shaw Koko, who scored 3 goals in the qualifiers, hoping to score in the main group stages. And Myanmar still haven't scored. Before the start of this match, they haven't scored in the Suzuki Cup group stages in 307 minutes. And with 10 minutes played, it's now 317 minutes without a goal. Last time they scored the group stages of the Suzuki Cup was when Chilin dispatched a penalty in their first match of the last campaign against Vietnam. But from open play, it's even worse. It's 537 minutes now without a goal from open play. The last time they did it, it came against the team they're playing tonight, Singapore, and this man scored it. Chin Wong-luin, their captain. Haris back to Baihaki. Here's coach Bernd Stanger. Still going to leave him on the pitch of play, even with that early yellow card. Faris Ramli trying to give a run around to David Tan. Needed some help from Win just to clear that ball. Flying Falcon. Khairul Amri wants a penalty. Never going to get it that way. They're keeping a close watch on Khairul Amri. Myanmar, 2 players on him whenever he springs into action. He's being played as an out-and-out centre forward. He's been deployed a lot of times by the coach he's facing today, Radi Avramovic, down the flanks. Very much so as an impact player when he was first introduced in 2004. Not the best of passes from Shaw Win. Lovely dummy that time from Sharil Ishak. Sahil Suhaimi, haven't seen much of him yet in this match. Smadi Mokhtar finally overlapping, just giving some help to Sahil, winning the throw for Singapore. Didn't disgrace himself in his Suzuki Cup debut against Thailand. Tampines Rovers player who will turn 31 next month. Well, they're gaining yards in terms of the throws. So nothing penetrative yet from this Singapore side. Ball bundled off the feet of Sharil Ishak. Back to a throw for Singapore. Han's gone out of play. Poor touch once again from Haris Harun. He tried to feed it right back to Ismadi Mokhtar. Typical Radi Avramovic formation, isn't it? It's very, very tight in midfield, making sure that you win the battle through physicality. And he wants his players compact, as always, with a high-pressure game up front. Myanmar give you no time on it because they spring forward. Feel beacon moving so very quickly. Every opportunity they have on the ball. Khairul Amri's first touch let him down, was well cleared by Ong Zaw, who gets second opportunity to complete this clearance. It's calmness before personified for Ong Zaw, who was left out of the qualifiers. Put a ball just behind Ismaili Mokhtar. This is danger for the Singapore right full-back, who does pretty well to give it right back to Hassan Sani. Clearance though finding Mong Nguyen. Nguyen Ong Chaw wants the ball. Min Tu. Long searching pass to Koko. This time it's easily cleared by Baihaki. That's an assured touch from Baihaki Kaizan. Sharan Sulaiman with a poor ball. Easily picked up by Ong Chaw. Koko was caught in an offside position. Arguing with the assistant referee. Immediately, Mr. Tantashev comes right in. He thought that Ismaili Mokhtar was keeping him in an onside position. So after a very bright opening from these two sides, 14 minutes of play gone by. Slowly now, just turning on the screws and getting a little tighter and more organized, especially at the back from Myanmar. Sahil, good run from him, just behind Khairul Amri, but he wins a free kick in a very dangerous position. It's a late decision. That's the reason why the Myanmaris were not too happy with it, but it's a correct one. Mong Nguyen, the first to voice his displeasure at that decision. That's what you'd like to see more of from Sahil Suhaimi, who's had a splendid season this year for his club side, Court Young Lions. Who are tuning to us from other parts of Southeast Asia. That is a club side which is a developmental team in Singapore, playing in the local league. Free kick taken, it's gone through everyone, it's in the back of the net, and Singapore take the lead against Myanmar. Yet again, Saiful Issa. Did it receive a touch on the way in? If it didn't, it'll be his first goal in the Suzuki Cup. The president stands on his feet. Both presidents, I should say. One, the president of the Republic of Singapore, the other, the president of the Football Association of Singapore, saluting the man who scored the first goal against Myanmar in a friendly last year. And he's done so again in 2014, at the most important stage when his country needed him the most. No touch. It doesn't look like there was a touch from anyone. Haris Harun's running away and saying, I did. I don't think he did. No, it just went right into the back of the net. And Saiful Issa gets his first goal. And this, by the way, is Singapore's 90th goal that they've scored in the Suzuki Cup. The man who assisted the equalizer against Thailand gets the opening goal against Myanmar. You knew it was an opportunity because that was just set up so perfectly, that angle for a lefty. And you've got one of the most cultured lefties in all of Southeast Asia in Saiful Issa in terms of deliveries. So all the players had in mind then was to attack. As long as the ball was flung in the air, attack it. They did. Just nobody touched it. Perfect start for Singapore, and it's a position they love as well, as Faris Ramli goes hunting for another goal. Should have laid it off yet again. Just had eyes for the goalkeeper and the sticks then. There was a superb run on the outside. I believe it was from Sahil Suhaimi. It was dazzling, it was mesmerizing. The finish was far from it. And on his outside, if he had just looked up, it's a chance to release a teammate. Now, this is a position which Singapore have made them meat and drink through the years. Every time they've scored the opening goal, Singapore have a near 100% record in the Suzuki Cup. In fact, they've won all but one match, which was a draw, whenever they've scored the opening goal. And they don't want an equalizer to come quickly here. Nandalin Chorchit's cross though, right down to the head of Baihaki Kaizan.
cool heads. What is needed at the back now? And here's Nanda, who was the third best player in the Myanmar National League this year. Ong Cho, Win Ong. Tin Win Ong getting the layoff, just nipping it aside. Chance for the shot at goal, which was very equally and well covered. Two Singapore players converging. Khairul Amri winning one in the air, didn't know where it was going to. Saiful Isa will ensure it doesn't go out of play. Faris Ramli trying to keep it alive with a hoist right inside the Myanmar half for Khairul. Easily picked out though. This is a good response here from Myanmar side from going a goal down. Nanda all the way back to Mong Luin. Touched the ball more times than any Myanmar player in that opening game against Malaysia. Ball's just placed slightly behind Cho. David Tan, Zaya Win. Still Zaya Win. Coco's dashing into the penalty box, trying to run the lines, run the channels behind the defense. It's at the moment his teammates are not doing him any justice by losing the ball in a very dangerous position. Up step the Singapore Lions. Sahel. Haris Harun. Calm needed. That's what he provided. Is that handball? The referee says yes. Spotted from a mile away once that hand moved up. So it was an action. Raise the officials' call to blow the whistle straight away. Safwan Barudin will tell you all about it after conceding that late equalizer. Or should I say the winning goal against Thailand. As we approach the 20-minute mark with Singapore in the lead by a goal to nil. An almost must-win match. At least it's a must-not-lose match. Haris, no communication there between the Singapore defenders. Oh, I tell you what, it was just all attitude from Choco Ko in trying to get to the ball. It was just all about a player not giving up on this. There we go. Determination. And the Myanmaris will try to feed from that determined energy that he's shown in the opening 20 minutes of this match. Running the line in an isolated formation. Much better defending, and it was a slight push. It's a huge problem right here for a Singapore player, and I think Shadan Sulaiman, I think he was gunned down. And this is a very, very bad injury. It looks that way. Might have even swallowed his tongue on this. Khairul Amri's also gone down. And thank goodness the picture's just showing Khairul Amri at the moment feeling a bit of a discomfort as he tries to get out from it. But Shadan Sulaiman certainly clanged right into his own player. And this does not look good at the moment for Shadan. Adi Iskandar, good friends with Radi Abramovich. Won all but one of his titles with Radi. There we go. Banged right into it. Oh, that was a nasty collision. There was a foul that was called as well. I think it was from the head, twice on the head of Shadan Sulaiman. Was that Shadan Sulaiman? Ooh, that was nasty. That is absolutely nasty. So what happened was that Shadan Sulaiman missed the header. Khairul Amri was pushed into Shadan. And Shadan's landing foot, his right, came right down, and Khairul just bashed right into it, and it snapped. This is a broken foot. This is a broken leg. This is very nasty. The Singapore players looked at it and immediately covered their eyes right after that. There we go. That's the foot that they have to pay very close attention to. And this might be Shadan Sulaiman being out for a long, long period. You do feel sorry for him. He started this game very brightly. His Tampines Rovers teammate from his club side in Singapore, giving Singapore the lead with that free kick, appreciated by the coach. Same claps he gave when Saiful Isa scored the opening goal in their friendly a year ago. This is good night to Shadan Sulaiman. And Zulfami Arifin takes his place in the center of midfield. It's another one who can deliver with his left peg. It's a heart-wrenching moment in what has been a feverish start to this match. Handball called by Sharil and then agreed by the referee. It's 330 minutes without a goal now for Myanmar and 550 minutes without a goal from open play for the White Angels. They need a goal desperately in order to claw themselves right back into this match. Haki has found a way right through. It's offside. Well, they have to be very mindful because the Myanmarese defense can fall asleep just as quickly. Trying to get the organization right. Radi Avramovic has seen a couple of those situations happen to them, especially in the qualifiers when Timor-Leste had the opportunity in that first match to do Radi in. They missed a couple of open goals and they got away with murder in that game. Drew that match, then won the next three to progress into the group stages, of which they've qualified for every round, but they haven't gone past the group stages since 2004. Win. Ball had already gone out for Nanda Lynch-Orchid. Do anything to keep it in play. He's got 8 goals this season for his club side. Yawadi. Sharil Ishak, as always, very expertly shielding the ball, making space for himself. Zulfami does likewise. Campson set the example, he's followed. Faris Ramli's dragged down by David Tan. It's a good battle there ensuing between David Tan and Faris Ramli down this left-hand side for Singapore, Myanmar's right. Both diminutive, both dynamic, both full of running. Shaw, kept alive by Zaya Win. Good touch by Cho Koko. He runs onto this. Look at the pace that he has. Safwan Barudin's just as quick. Goes for safety first. Throw's going to be taken by Tan. Waiting for a player to free himself. It's Koko in the end who had to abandon his centre forward role. I think the boot was a little too high. Storming in that time was Mimintu. Yeah, it was Mimintu. Scored 1 goal in the qualifiers and he's really the stem inside the team. It's a fulcrum of which the attacking players just rotate around. By Haki. Zulfami, always wanting the ball. Gives it to Safwan Barudin. Here's Saiful Issa. Much better pressing this one from Myanmar. There is some space opening up now from Bahaki. Kaizan needs some running up front, which is absent at the moment. Finally, there is a dash forward by Khairul Amri, but he went the other way, which the ball was speared onto him. Win on. Zaya Win. Cho wants it, Ong Cho gets it. Yan Ong Cho playing in his second Suzuki Cup. Mintu. Haris just flipping it into space. Knowing the pace that Khairul Amri has, and Amri does get himself onto the ball. Sahil Slime, just couldn't make it away. Chon Monglun. That's the experience for you. He was watching the ball all the way through and not watching the runs of Khairul Amri. Chance for Zaya Win to start something here. They almost got the ball and dragged it outside to Nanda Lynch-Orchid. The experience of Ismaili Mokhtar, not so much on the international level, but club level, making sure that Singapore is kept inside the game. Safwan Barudin just gives it right back to Myanmar and says, try again. Well, they're not going to cover themselves, but Stats does not make very good reading. Every time they've conceded the first goal in a Suzuki Cup match, Myanmar have never won. They're trying to find a way right back into this. Nanda needed to really take the ball on the outside, or maybe just cut it right back in to find that angle to cross it. Fortuitous pass that was picked up by Koko. Nanda's on the outside. Haris goes biting into those challenges again, as tenacious as he always is. Koko skips past his Madi. Haris there yet again. He's got to watch his hands. Another yellow card from Haris, and he too will serve a suspension. Ong Cho right inside the box, scrambling clear by the Singapore side, who don't look very assured defensively. And it's a turn for Myanmar to take advantage of this. Tan stepping on the ball at time at the wrong time. Ong Cho. Win Ong. Onside it was as well, but the pitch misbehaved and held the ball up instead of just bouncing it right into the path of Koko. Safan Parudin, thankful of that. No way around Saifulisa for Zaya win. Yan Ong Cho plays for Yangon United, one of 7 players called up by Radi. Represents a team that finished second in the league this year in Myanmar. Haris, like a boss. Until that clearance, Khairul Amri couldn't find. And back they come again, Myanmar. Koko. It was a very clever ball. Looking for the run of Mintu. Trying to put it right onto a plate for him, but even then there was cover at the back for Singapore. It had been very difficult for him to take that shot on the spin, reaching the final 15 minutes of this first half. It's gone a little flat for Singapore, which will be good news for Myanmar as they try to claw themselves back into this match. Second matches of the Suzuki Cup haven't been too good for Myanmar recently. Haven't won a second match of the Suzuki Cup since 2004. They beat the Philippines by 6-1. Here's Singapore, who've only lost one second match of the Suzuki Cup. That was at the last edition against Indonesia. They're ruling the roost, leading by a goal to nil. Smadi Mokhtar trying to make up for this error by giving the ball away. Roots it right back, just does enough to ensure that there was a shield right in front of him with the ball and his fellow defenders to win that free kick from Nanda. Well, the bright spark for Myanmar and the optimistic flag that they'll fly is that Singapore have never kept a clean sheet against Myanmar in the Suzuki Cup. They've always managed to score against Singapore. 5 goals in 2 matches in 2004. And a goal each in 2008 and 2010. All in losing efforts though. As Nongzo steps in, make another challenge. Khairul Amri. Clever work from Khairul Amri. Looking for the space for the cross. Keeper has spilled it. Chance for the goal. Scrambled in the end, bodies flying all over the place just to protect the goal line, and the goalkeeper who had dropped it momentarily, and Faris Ramli couldn't take advantage of it. Well, this was a little fortunate for goalkeeper TRC2 because it just fell slightly behind Haris Harun, right into his path, and Haris would have buried it. But he took his chances with that palm out, and Faris Ramli was running onto it. That's the reason why Sharul Ishak decided to leave it. Impeccable vision from the Singapore captain. A finish though well charged down from the Myanmar side. Corner to Singapore. Might be another foot injury here due to the impact of the football after it was struck. And they conceded from a set piece in the 15th minute of play. 16 minutes later, that same man who scored a goal is behind this again. Much better defending from Min Min 2. Saifulisa has another opportunity from his favorite angle. Knuckles from the keeper. Safety from Koko. Almost a very good ball out to Winong. Saiful Issa just dancing past Coco. Safwan, Khairul Amri looking for the space to curl this one around. It finally is released and it's a poor finish by Sahil. So it took an age and Sharil Ishak is letting the rest of his teammates know that the ball should have been played much quicker. The decision making had to be almost instantaneous at that time once the ball fell to the feet of Khairul Amri. But he had too many options, and he almost wanted to use the defenders as a shield for him to bend the ball around the goalkeeper. Once he found out that he couldn't, the responsibility fell right onto the path of Sahil and the finish was poor. Knuckles from Tia Situ kept just his second clean sheet in his Suzuki Cup career when they drew 0-0 with Malaysia. Tracking back has been very good from the Singapore wingers so far. Sahil's Sahaimi, latest to win a free kick and dragged back by Chor Zaya Win, who's changed flanks just for a while with Nanda Linchor Chit. Khairul Amri. He's onside Faris. He's looked across the line, he's judged this very well. The drag back to Haris Harun on the volley! Oh, what a goal! Haris Harun with a belter! We've seen some superb goals at the Suzuki Cup already. Lee Kong Vin's strike against Indonesia. Manuel Ott's strike yesterday against Indonesia. And now Haris Harun is also top of the pile with his first ever Suzuki Cup goal. And he becomes the 50th player to score against Myanmar in the Suzuki Cup. All credit to Faris Ramli. All brains from him. He made sure that he kept himself onside. He watched the line, and how about this for a finish? Once it sat down for him, he knew that a clean strike, a breath and a strike. And from then on, watch the net shake. What a moment that is for Haris Harun as well. It's a tournament that hasn't been kind to him. He's had to skip a couple of tournaments because of injury. He had to leave the last tournament because of injury. And here he is, his own form of revenge, scoring the second goal 10 minutes before half-time. And it's against the coach that made him the youngest ever capped Singaporean. Some 7 years ago, at just 16 years, 217 days, he made his international bow. I'm sure the apologies will come after the match. But for the moment, he's soaking up his superstardom here at the Kallang National Stadium in Singapore with one of the goals of the Suzuki Cup this time out. But they still have to watch because Myanmar have looked very bright and sprightly whenever they move the ball forward and use the pace of their wingers. And don't forget too, they have Cheelin to come from the bench. Here's Faris Ramli, who created that second goal, trying to get round David Tan, who got the better of him this time around. Yanang Cho. Chin Mong Luin. Nanda Linchor Chit. This is Chor Zaya Win. Haris was watching it all the way. And ensured that he's just as strong defending as he was with that strike. Al Qasimi is the latest to come in for Singapore. I believe that Ismadi Mokhtar has succumbed to injury too. So that's not good news for Bernstanger. A couple of players going down with knocks early on in this match. Shadan Sulaiman with that horrific leg break. Ismaili Mokhtar probably with a niggle and a pull. Faris Ramli, the creator of the second goal. And it was all about him ensuring that he looked right across the line and ensured that he was in an onside position before Khairul Amri released the pass to him. Winong, once again, trying to just squeeze it and pierce it right through the heart of the Singapore defense. Min2 wins the ball back. Ong Chor. Here's Tan. Nanda wants the ball played out to him. He gets it. Ball played in behind the defense. It's onside by Ong Chor. Watched very closely by Zulfami. Couldn't keep the ball in play, and now they have to organize themselves at the back because it's going to be a corner to Myanmar. This Yanong Chor, 3 goals this season for Yangon. And a couple of them coming from set-piece situations with his head, so he runs right inside the penalty box, or has he? He's gone right outside. Hassan Sani. Just scoop that ball and dip it inside the penalty box. Chokoko, more than a shot at goal. Triple K would be so disappointed with his efforts. Radi Abramovic started the match pretty well. His Angels were just flying all over the place, and in a firehouse pressure cooker of a furnace, his players were walking on fire until that goal by Saiful Issa. To be fair to them, they actually came back and posed a couple of questions to the Singapore defense, which can be combustible. That goal by Haris Haron has knocked the stuffing a little bit out of this Myanmar squad. Zulfami. Not the best of touches by Faris. Saiful Issa shows him the way to do it. Oh, that starts showing. And David Tan might go into the referee's books for that. Saiful Issa has gone down. Singapore haven't had very much luck recently with injuries. Saiful Issa is the latest to be clutching his ankle, which might be a main worry for Bernstanger. David Tan escapes a yellow card despite this very wild challenge. Look at that. The referee wasn't a million miles away either. I was quite surprised that he didn't call for that free kick and a yellow card. He did call for the free kick, but not the yellow card. David Tan's a very lucky boy because one more and he would be in the suspension books. Sahil. It's going to be a corner. Safwan Barudin, yet again the prime target inside the penalty box for the Singapore team. As always, behind him, he had to use all his neck muscles in the world to arc it behind the goalkeeper. Baihaki's right up there, the only defender in Suzuki Cup history to score in 3 different editions. Can he score in the 4th? Of this latest Saiful Issa delivery? He served dinner and served delicious ones so far at the National Stadium. What's his latest going to be? Near post, not defended by Myanmar, finally cleared, and Haris is there yet again! Another volley! Haris Haron has given Singapore the kiss of life. And the crowd are absolutely lapping it up. Double H with a double. And double volleys. Both superbly taken from a man who's been criticized often through the years for not scoring enough goals. Well, there's your answer. (3-0), 3 minutes remaining. And to be fair, Myanmar don't deserve to be 3-0 down. And this will be a gargantuan task now for Radi Abramovic. Coco deciding to go on a solo rampage. Cho Zayawin. Second chance to knock it right in. Zulfami misses that challenge. Mintu blocked. Nanda Linchorchit trying to snatch a goal before half-time in order to get themselves right back into the game. Snatched away though by Sharil Ishak. Winong's got to go all the way back to build it up yet again. Ong Cho. It's very well watched that time by Faris Ramli. Anticipation at its very best. Khairul, Faris Ramli almost toe poking it away from his opponent, which was Ong Zo that time. Goes out harmlessly, that clearance for a throw to Myanmar. He got the ball rolling. And Haris Harun has got the glum faces going in Myanmar. Nanda against Al Qasimi, a new opponent for him. Did it last come off the Singaporean? It looked that way. No, says the referee. It's going to be goal kick for Singapore. All the decisions going the way of the Lions at the moment. Ilgiz Tatashev of Uzbekistan. I'm sure will have at least 2 minutes of added time to add on due to the injury to Sharan Sulaiman. Need to find a goal somewhere. Myanmar 352 minutes now without a goal in the Suzuki Cup. They just need that little spark going for them. They had that big opportunity, of course, in the early minutes. But Nanda Linchorchit was in an offside position, and even then he fluffed his chances and missed the ball completely. Cho Zayawin, Kaizan, much more assured from him as he stepped across to cover his fellow defenders who had committed themselves to that sea of Myanmar players on the edge of the box, just waiting for a runner to get in behind them. Haki was the runner behind that Singapore defense. Throw in Myanmar. No nonsense from Saiful Issa. Last thing they'd like to do is to concede a goal. They've always conceded goals against Myanmar in the Suzuki Cup. Towards their first ever clean sheet against them. Coco has had no exchange. He needs support up there. Maybe So Min Oo and Chi Lin will be called on by Radi at halftime. Chi Lin actually came on at halftime against Cambodia and changed the face of the game in that match. That might be the next card pulled out by Radi. Qasimi comes storming in, won that header but lost possession. Nanda. Over by Haki. Header harmlessly wide in the end by Mintu. Good cross sandwich between the two Singaporeans. Instead of just being an ingredient, he actually made himself very useful, Mintu, by trying to arc his header goalwards. Cho Zayawin lost a lot of him with that ball on the outside. Does superbly well to actually still get it back in play. And Haki Kaizan always favored in the air against Mintu. He was so at that time yet again. Oh, Faris Ramli, the judge to have fouled his opponent, and it looked the other way around. Bernd Stange not too happy with it, got up immediately from his bench to signal to the referee and let it be known. It's going to be a free kick for David Tan and Myanmar. Yep, it's a free kick for Myanmar. Well, some coaches would say that was outside the field of play. It shouldn't have been called. Seconds remaining now. Myanmar looking for Hopefully a game-changing goal before halftime. They're not going to get it, and it's huge relief around the Kallang National Stadium from the 15th minute on. Saiful Issa scored the opening goal of the match, Singapore's 90th goal in the Suzuki Cup tournament, and then Haris Harun became the 50th player to score against Myanmar in the Suzuki Cup with a stunning volley. The roof is closed here, and it almost came right down, and there probably are cracks at the moment after Haris's goal. And who's to blame? The fans. Another volley from Haris, and Singapore are up by 3-0 at half-time. Welcome back to Singapore, the Lion City, and Radi Avramovic rings his changes immediately as Chi Lin comes on. When he came on against Cambodia in the qualifiers, he changed the game for them and brought them to a 3-1 victory. Different story this time. It's not 0-0 at halftime as it was in that game. It's 0-3. They're chasing a deficit. And inquest would certainly be starting for Radi Avramovic as to why Chi Lin didn't start in the first place. He will be pretty disappointed with his side conceding those goals. But really, goalkeeper couldn't do anything about those two Haris Harun thumpers. Singapore squad firmly having qualification back into their hands with this display so far. And might be a good time to be hunting for goals too, with Myanmar now having to commit themselves moving forward. And they need the goal in their second half in order to get themselves right back into this match. I can tell you it's 2-2 at the Jalan Besar Stadium in a match that was slated to kick off at 5 p.m. Due to inclement weather, it only kicked off at about 7:30. And it's 2-2 between Malaysia and Thailand. Thais have just equalized. Malaysia twice in the lead in that game, twice having been pegged back. Casey watching is from outside of Singapore, in other parts of Southeast Asia. The reason why it's not played at the same venue is because of the grass here at the National Stadium. Organizers felt that the grass is not competent enough to hold two matches in the same day. It's holding up pretty well at the moment, this pitch. Singapore player goes stumbling right down after that challenge. Did he lean in with his elbow? It's Win Ong who gets a yellow card from the referee. That's pretty nasty for Sahil Suhaimi to be at the end of it. We've already had that horrific injury to Shadan Sulaiman. Smadi Mokhtar had to pull out due to a strained muscle too, but that Shadan Sulaiman injury, I can confirm with you, he's fractured his right ankle. In fact, his ankle was turned outside in. It's one of the worst injuries we've ever seen in the history of this competition. I hate to see that happening to any player, and you certainly wish him all the very best. Speedy recovery. Saiful Issa scored the first goal from a free kick. A little wider than this, a little closer to goal. He's got Baihaki Safwan inside the penalty box, waiting for another perfect delivery, which comes. Brilliant defending that time from Ong Zaw. It had to be too, and he climbed higher than anyone else. He climbed first, anticipating the ball to drop exactly where he was. Ball played in behind the defense. Haris Harun, scorer of those two goals, making sure that it's marshaled all the way back to goalkeeper Hassan Sani. Those goal scorers, by the way, in the Thailand-Malaysia game. Amri Yaya and Safiq Rahim for Malaysia. Marisa Kraisom and Chanatip scoring the goals for Thailand. Singapore losing possession of the ball. Faris Ramli, Sharil Ishak inspiring to give the possession right back to Myanmar, and then give it right back to Singapore. Disappointing from Radi's charges. KKK splits the game up with his off-the-ball running, but has had no service so far. Certainly hoping that Chi Lin would do that. Faris blocked off the ball, free kick, and another dangerous position. Have to stop giving away these silly free kicks right outside of the edge of the penalty box. Singapore have the height to hurt them. That was totally unnecessary from David Tan. Been fooled already and bedazzled by Faris Ramli, but he had support on his way back. Here's another one where it's a signal for the central defenders to come forward with Haris Harun inside the penalty box. Tiha Situ, who felt nothing but wind when Haris smacked those two volleys past him. This time he was backed into by Safwan Barudin. That's going to be a free kick to Myanmar. This is the 25th time in the Suzuki Cup that Singapore have scored the opening goal. And in the last 24 outings, every time they've scored the opening goal, they've won 23 and drawn just 1. So it's an almost perfect record whenever the Lions have taken the lead in this tournament. Unless there's a huge capitulation in this match, I don't see the results going any other way. Next milestone perhaps is to get their first ever clean sheet against Myanmar. Chilin's early touch goes all the way back. Sees the ball yet again. Loves to peel off his markers and plays the second support striker. It's the reason why he hardly scores enough goals. But he, of course, last Myanmaris to score in the Suzuki Cup last edition via the penalty spot. It's the opening game of the last edition. We've been keeping count here. 358 minutes now without a goal in this competition for Myanmar. Going all the way back to Tiazitu is not going to help. Goalkeeper plays his club football for Yadanabon, the Myanmarese champions. He kept 11 clean sheets in 22 games this season in the Myanmar National League. Winong trying to drive it forward. He's the generator inside this midfield and the legs and lungs that they need. Charzaya win. Snapshot at goal. Sensing that he had no support outside of him. Not a very good touch by Nanda Linchorchit. It's gone out for a throw. So they have firepower up front now to get those goals. Nanda has got 7 this season for his club side. And you have Choko Ko scored 8 goals this season and 11 last season for Yangon United, playing side by side with him. And Chilin, who's been scoring goals for fun too. It's Koko, just wide. Finally a shot from Chokoko. Just enough space for him to turn. Now that there is enough attention to be given out to Chilin. Enjoying a bit more freedom away from the central defenders. He just peeled away from Waihaki Kaizan. That was clever movement from him because he had taken a little look around and saw that Safan Barudin was occupied by Nanda Al-Qasimi. Long-searching ball easily cut out by Myanmar. The intensity and pace from this Singapore team has certainly gone down a little bit at the start of the second half, and they have to watch as the ball just goes driving across goal. And that was so close to being 1-3. Chokoko yet again, slowly coming back into this match now. And reminding everyone why he has been the talisman throughout this year. Ball was released, yet again it was static defending by Haki Kaizan, went back, Chokoko went forward, and the snapshot just went right across goal. He's getting closer, and he's inching his way inside the penalty box. Yet again, ball given away by Singapore. Winong. Mong Luin, back to Winong. Does well against Khairul, just to keep ball. And here's Mintu. Play behind the defense. A little miscommunication once again between goalkeeper and central defender. Safan Barudin was to toe poke the ball out for a corner to Myanmar. This is not the kind of start that Bernd Stanger would have wanted from his team. I'm sure he must have told them at half-time just to keep themselves very organized and compact at the back. But at the moment, it seems very, very fragile. Corner didn't have enough height by Zaya Win. He's got the opportunity to try it again. He gives the responsibility instead to his teammates. It's a wicked deflection for another Myanmar corner. Zaya Win's got the bodies in the box, but once again it didn't lead the near post defender. Singapore taking an age to get themselves out in order to defend this. It was dipping. He was screaming for it to dip sooner with Mintut. Played in 2008, missed the last 2 editions of the Suzuki Cup. Here he is as a 28-year-old. Hoping for renaissance in his career. He created the second goal, Faris Ramli, that intelligent run found by Khairul Amri. At the moment, he's being starved of service. Singapore forward line from Sharil, Khairul, Sahil, and Faris is seeing nothing of the ball. Sahil goes all the way back to Zulfami, who loses possession. The break is on for Myanmar. Chilin
Chorza win. Into, back to Win! They're back in it! They've scored against Singapore again, and it's Chorza win. Ball lost in midfield, and the Myanmar supporters go 8 nuts. They see a glimmer of hope. Is there something still left in the tank of Radi Abramovich? Chorza win at the heart of this move. And once again, the Singapore defenders static, allowing the Myanmaris to run rings way past them way too easily. Hassan Sani couldn't do anything about it. They can't keep a clean sheet against the White Angels. And they're right back into this game. (3-1). That's exactly what was needed. Scoring in the opening 15 minutes of the second half, just to pose the questions to the Singapore backline. That's what Radi would have wanted. That's what Radi has got. Are they going to get another very quick goal? Superb tackle by Al-Qasimi. Free kick for Singapore, which will be a huge reprieve for them because they have been under pressure in the early stages of the second half. Mintu a little overzealous in trying to win the ball back. All the noise now coming from the Myanmar fans. They've won every second ball so far in the second half, until that moment when Zulfami stepped in to win that loose ball off the header from Sharil. Poor pass from Al-Qasimi. Myanmar have possession. Bernstein has already had to make 2 substitutions. 1 card left. Singapore fans must have thought to themselves at halftime, and this was the opportunity to go guns all a-blazing, to try to rack up the goals, but instead they now have to keep it out. Another free kick given away by a rampant Myanmar side. This man has got so much history. He's only lost 4 times in the Suzuki Cup. Khairul Amri. Oh, needed to be hit with the outside of the boot in order to find Faris Ramli. It was an angled run. He tried to match it with a pass. Either had to hit it long or hit it with the outside of the boots. There we go. Curl it around the defense. Didn't have enough of a shape behind it. Easy for the goalkeeper to get onto that. He's looked very tired today, Khairul, after his exertions, and he's definitely the best Singapore player on the pitch in the game against Thailand. They're running behind the Singapore defense at will. Hassan Sani forced to scramble, concede the corner. Well, they invited the shot to come in, and was at a horrible position for the goalkeeper. Judged the bounce perfectly. Myanmar still inside the box. Too selfish though that time. Went for glory instead of a little dink inside the penalty box and a little chip for one of his players to feast on. There we go. Take a shot. We dare you, and he did. Chi Lin packs a real power behind that right foot of his. Hassan Sani's first real save in this game. Free kick to Myanmar. Khairul Amri bundling his opponent over and trying to get to the ball. Saiful Issa is paced, tested by Nanda. Let's do a little run around on him, but the spin of the ball took it away.
Kick to Singapore. Minutes of the second half played, and it's 3-1. Haris Harun's 2 goals now the difference between the two sides, scoring the second and third of the game. Looking for his hat-trick, which will be his first in Singapore colours. The best of touches by Sahil. Look so hungry in the second half, don't they, Myanmar? It's as if Arati starved them at half-time, didn't give them anything at all in terms of replenishments. Is that going to be a penalty? Yes! Singapore have given away a penalty. Safwan Barudin, yet again, gives away a penalty in a second successive match. And here come the White Angels with a chance to make it 3-2. Chokoko scored a penalty in the qualifiers. Is he going to be given the responsibility? It's Chilin who set him clear. The bounce of the pitch. That was what caused a little hesitation in the form of a little track from Safwan Barudin. And once the boot goes flying up, the referee is going to call that. That was a bit harsh because the ball had been running away from Koko. But penalty to Myanmar. Trying to force a comeback of epic proportions here in the Suzuki Cup. Hassan Sani couldn't keep out Sharil Shapui from Thailand in the opening match. Is he going to bail out Safwan Barudin the second time of asking? The answer is no. Chokoko, who won the penalty, converts it. And now we have a game. KKK has done it for Myanmar as they bring on yet another attacker and the youngster Nen Chon Ong, who was their top scorer in the AFC Under-19 Cup. Singapore give the ball away again. They don't know what has hit them. You would have thought that here's the opportunity to hit on the counter-attack, but they've done nothing whenever they've had possession of the ball. And they need a leader on the pitch right now to ensure that the game is dictated. Perfectly placed pass from Chilin. That was harsh. You have to say that was very harsh. Coming together, but he takes full advantage of it, Koko. Second tournament in a row where they've had a penalty. They've scored from it. Ball hit long, begging for the pace of Khairul Amri, who latches on. Needs support, waits for it. It's behind the goalkeeper who flaps. Faris Ramli couldn't keep it alive though. And Myanmar clear their lines. El Kasimi given a real roasting at the moment from Chilin. By Haki. Decides to go short, it doesn't work. Sharil, of all people, losing the ball. Haris steps in just at the right time. El Kasimi. It's a ball that's so favored for the defender. Chanong. To get the ball back from David Tan. Throw in Myanmar. everything going the way of the White Angels. 20 minutes into the second half. There was a very famous 3-3 draw between these two sides back in 1993. Then the Southeast Asian Games was the premier football competition. Myanmar won it in a penalty shootout in that semi-final. Mintu once again played behind the Singapore defence. They've been given fits by this Myanmar forward line, which are exploiting their lack of pace and their indecision at the back. Safwan Barudin this time comes back to cover. Winong. Very disappointing effort by the Shwe Kapin midfield destroyer. Bench, Radi Avramovic bellowing immediately once the ball left his boots that he wanted the ball played in yet again behind the Singapore defence. Hard for him to go for glory. Another second ball picked up by Myanmaris. Tell you that Thailand are leading Malaysia by 3-2. They probably won that now. Isak Kraisom with a brace. That might mean Malaysia or Thailand joining the Philippines in the semi-finals. No handball, says the assistant referee. Safwan Barudin just stealing a march. And with so Thailand through to the semi-finals. And if Singapore hang on to this, it will be them needing just a draw in their final match against Malaysia to progress. But at the moment, they can't even hang on to the ball. Chanong, the 18-year-old, wins the latest free kick. Confidence of the youngster, step over, drawing the foul. Still on, and I think it's going to be kept in play. And they almost fell asleep then, the Singapore defence. Zulfami bangs it out of a Myanmarese player for a goal kick. Well, the composure is totally gone from the squad. The swagger that we saw in the first half, and the third goal went in. The confidence at the back is dissipated immediately, failing to keep themselves tight. So the Myanmaris have exploited it by playing balls behind the Singapore defence, getting their big guns like Chilin and Chokoko to run on and latch onto those loose passes. Sharil gives away the free kick. The assistant referee signalled. The referee, who was probably closer to play, and the assistant referee agreed. Chanong. Still Chanong. Just sealed the transfer at the start of this month to a new side, Yangon. Tan. Mintu. Mong Luin. We've hardly mentioned his name in the second half. This shows you how much Myanmar have been on the offensive. El Kasimi got away. Zulfami. Haris, That's the composure that Singapore needed. Haris almost gives the ball away. It's just pressure football at the moment from Myanmar. Superb save by Hassan Sani, keeps Singapore in the game. And immediately he starts screaming out at Faris Ramli for giving the ball away too cheaply. Sharil will run after this. TRC2 clears it only to a Singapore player. Zulfami, Haris, Khairul Amri, Saiful Issa, Faris Ramli, Khairul Amri just outside the box. Wants the ball played. Well, it's tapped back to him, but Myanmar pick up the ball. Not the best of touches from Sharil Ishak. We don't say that very often. Haki had to vacate his centre-back position in order to mark out the trap by Chazaya Win. Here's Winong, who's run his legs to the ground. Accurate enough pass to Chanong. He was too clever for himself that time. Safwan Barudin taking no chances, and there's a huge lack of communication at the moment occurring between Safwan Barudin, Haki Kaizan and Hassan Sani. This one, they had to thank their goalkeeper for pulling out a stunning save to keep them in the game. It wasn't exactly what the doctor ordered from Sahil Sahaimi. Min Min 2. Here's Chilin. By Haki, being taken around. Oh, they got away with it. Safwan's not too happy. He felt that Koko dived. Haris is saying it's twice. He got away with it once, but not the second time. Sorry. And Safwan Barudin's got to watch as well because he's on a yellow card. The two Singapore centre-backs are on a yellow card. Perhaps that explains the tentative behaviour from those two centre-backs. But they've got to watch. By Haki yet again, given the run around. Oh, I tell you what, that would have been a penalty. That was more a penalty than it was when Safwan went charging into Chokoko earlier on. There was contact. Safwan gets away with it. Singapore come away with the ball. Saiful Issa couldn't release the run of Faris. Minutes remaining of this match, and another Singaporean has gone down with an injury. Saiful Issa, who was clutching his ankle in the first half. I don't know whether he's signaling to the bench. It's the end of the night already for two of the Lions players in the first half. Ismadi Mokhtar and Sharan Sulaiman succumbing to injuries. The latter with a fractured ankle. Haris Harun at the moment is driving this team and trying to lead by example. And it doesn't help that his players just giving the ball away too cheaply. It's time now for Baihaki to compose himself on the ball. Here is Haris. No one up front making any sort of movement. All the movement and mobility is coming from Myanmar at the moment. Pressing for the ball, chasing to win it back just as quickly as they lose it. A great touch by Sahil. Brilliant touch. He's got around one. He's won a free kick surely. Saiful Issa, all of a sudden his ankle is okay. He's going to trudge up to take this one. Chin Mong Luin, judged to have hauled down Sahil. Wasn't booked in the first game, so he's all right for their final match against Thailand. We're already through, remember, after their 3-2 victory against Malaysia. goal here would derail this comeback plot from Myanmar. Put a real spanner in their works. It's gone in! Oh! Myanmar heads hang low, and Saiful Issa with an almost carbon copy of that first goal of the night. This time from further out, the free kick swung in wickedly. That left foot is a real hazard for all opponents. And yet again it escapes everyone in the penalty box and finds the back of the net. There we go. Oh, there was a touch. That might go down as an own goal. This time there was a touch and it came off a white head. Right into the back of the net. Chin Mong Luin, I believe, the captain who gave away that free kick in the first place. Sahil Suhaimi, who won that free kick with a clever control and run, makes way for Fazrul Nawaz. He was involved in a high-scoring affair the last time out in the last Suzuki Cup as well. Fazrul came on as a substitute and scored a goal in a 4-3 victory against Laos. He has scored a goal against Myanmar, the 2005 SEA Games, that an under-23 event, of course. He won it by that odd goal, scored by Fazrul, who's chasing after this now. And what Fazrul does is gives you a lot of legs and a lot of speed down the flanks. Radi Abramovich had to come from 3 goals down, and he almost did it. Would have felt that he might have won a penalty. Another penalty in this game. That might have made it 3-all. And then a couple of minutes later, a Saiful Issa free kick off a deflection goes right into the back of the net. That had some height to it. It would have just gone to a Singapore head because David Tan, who's not the tallest player inside the penalty box, won it. And behind him, 2 players were free, including Shahril Ishak, who is chasing to win back possession. They've got to watch right now, Singapore, because they're not going to keep it tight at the back. The Myanmaris are going to capitalize. Here's a chance for the counter-attack. The sucker punch is on. Faris Ramli felt he was blocked off. The referee claims he was fouling and trying to get to the ball. Winong. Chinong. Off the man of the moment, Saiful Issa. And we got Myanmar right back into this game. 5 minutes after the restart. Cho Zaya win. Is there going to be more fireworks from him? Safwan Barudin claimed that he was fouled. Referee, who was right under the nose of the situation, waves play on. Chilin always wanted on his right foot. Mong Luin. Min-tu. Easily cut out. Faris definitely hacked. Advantage played. Zulfami invites Saiful Issa to come further forward. He's caught in a real cul-de-sac before he cleverly got himself out of that position. So too did Zulfami. All the way back to Safwan. Haris, the calming influence in the team. Haris Haron still. Oh, how about that for a pass from Haris Haron? Was that offside in the first place from Shahril Ishak? The answer is yes from the assistant referee. All down to the sheer tenacity and football intelligence of Haris Haron. He's performing surgery on this Myanmar defense tonight. But let it be said too, that for 30 minutes in the second half, the Singapore players were all at sea until that Saiful Issa free kick has calmed them down slightly, heading into the final 10 minutes. Always goals whenever Myanmar faces Singapore, and Radi Abramovich was at the end of those victories against Myanmar when he was coach of Singapore, and now he's seeing the trend continue, albeit on the opposite ring. Another superb delivery from Saiful Issa. This time stout defending. Mintu. A lot of players running forward, showing the way. Decides to go wide to Zaya Win. Well watched by Zulfami. Physicality. It's flared tempers getting the better of the Myanmar players now. They needed calm heads. The most hot-tempered one inside the dressing room, I'm sure, was their coach, Radi Abramovich. This time, Win Ong wasn't too happy with that flailing out from Khairul Amri, so he went biting in. Chomped at his ankles. Free kick, Singapore. Saiful Issa. Safwan wins it in the air. So too does Sharil. Fazlul's not giving up the chase. Now he's got to chase back to his position down the right-hand side. So Myanmar come forward with Chilin. Fazlul Nawas. Still there. That's the reason why he's been brought on. It's a different sort of energy that he brings to the squad. Still plays with a headgear in case you're watching this from outside of Singapore. Fazlul Nawas suffered a horrific head injury in the Malaysian Super League competition last year. Had metal plates put inside his head. Feared that his football career might be over, but here he is, appearing in another Suzuki Cup. Trying to charge down another Myanmar attack. Chilin, another goal here would give us a very interesting final few minutes. Chit Sumo will take the place of Min Min Tu. Plays for Chin United, Chit Sumo. He's 19 next month, and he'd hope that Myanmar would still be in the competition when he celebrates his birthday. Good catch. Almost dropped by Hassan Sani. Well, even if they lose this, Myanmar, they're not out of it. Not by a million miles. They'll play against a Thai side who are already into the semi-finals, so there might be a chance that Kyatisuk Sinamwang, the Thai coach, might give his reserves a chance in the game. And Singapore have got that causeway rivalry between them and Malaysia on Saturday. The Malaysians themselves, 1 point of their first 2 matches, they too are not out of it. Singapore, of course, would be in the dominant position, needing just a point in the final round of matches to qualify for the semi-finals. Sumo's first touch. It's a hospital pass to Win Ong. Faris Ramli shields it well enough. Uses Sharil Ishak. Khairul Amri's inside, waiting for a cross at the far post. Disappointing delivery though by the captain. Can't add to that one goal that he scored against Myanmar back in 2004. Hasimi Zulfami just hooking it clear. So too Fazrul. That was unnecessary just to give possession away. Haris Haron hunting the ball down. Then asking Safwan Barudin to do the needful against Chilin. Helped by the referee's whistle. Heading into the final 5 minutes of this match. Myanmar comeback, which looked so promising after 15 minutes. Faltering with an own goal, and Bernstanger's charges have gotten out of jail. This man's free kicks. The difference between these two sides, plus those two Harris howitzers. Chin Ong still looks very confident on the ball. Fazrul Nawas get it right back to a Myanmarese player. Surely the ball's got to be cleared. It is the end by Zulfami. Win Ong deciding to switch the focus of the attack. Found no way forward, so it went all the way back, and here's Mongluit, the captain. Scored the own goal after giving away the free kick. Sumo, Win Ong. Watched yet again by Haris Haron. Timely interception. Faris Ramli. Khairul Amri. Khairul shaved the side netting. He's hardly had a sniff tonight. Had his first real shot at goal, and he wasn't going to pass it off. Trying to arc the ball beyond the goalkeeper at the near post. Well, they've lost the plot at the moment, Myanmar. They've just forgotten about what got them right back into the game. Just playing those long balls behind the Singapore defense. Saiful, Haris, Faris, happy to use his goalkeeper, Hassan Sani. Fazrul Nawaz, well, in favor of the referee's whistle, did he? No, he actually signaled a free kick for Singapore and changed his mind after the assistant referee and flag as well. Fazrul helping him by just moving away from the scene of the crime. Win Ong. Chilin looking for the angle to take a belter. He's run out of options, run out of angles. He's won a corner. Oh, player open! And almost a third for Myanmar. Yet again, the marking was slack. And Chitsu Mo should have done much better with the finish, at least put it on target. They all went to bed. It suffered a case of disease as the ball just came right across and no one was keeping a close watch on Chitsu Mo. Exasperated look on Hassan Sani tells you that Myanmar are right back at it again. Now it's keep ball time for Singapore. Sharil, Harris, the perfect two players to do that. And they play it around each other and toy with the Myanmarese defense as Sharil tries to put a ball just behind White Angels back line. 3 added minutes for Singapore to hang on to this 2-goal advantage. Chilin just hung one right in. No one's attacked it. Chin Ong. Harris is right there helping out his central defenders now. Almost the same spot where he scored Singapore's 3rd goal. Yet again they went to sleep at the back. These are worrying signs, not just for Hassan Sunny but for coach Bernd Stange. Now during those set-piece situations, they just gone to sleep. Hassan Sunny has been given the yellow card, possibly for time wasting. Third Singaporean to be booked tonight. Amri wins one in the air. We'll have this one back from Harris. No, it's David Tan. Amri does the intelligent thing, which is to see the ball out. Look exactly where his opponent is, and then the velocity of the ball. Faris dancing, waltzing. And now having to track back, it's Khairul Amri who takes his position down the flanks. His last gasp of air, Khairul Amri. By Haki. Couldn't nip the ball back. Shot is on. No, with the mischievous bounce of the pitch. Might just cause the goalkeeper some problems. Almost did earlier on when she didn't strike, just bounced right in front of him. Hassan Sunny has been keeping a very close watch on these situations, and Chitsumo's effort is not going to defeat him. He just lacks the venom. Faris Ramli guilty of waiting for ball to fall to feet. Koko. Safwan wins the battle this time out. Khairul. Haris Haron. Arguably Singapore's man of the match. Sharil. Such a clever pass that was to Faris. Not the best first touch. It does fall into his path. Cross was behind his captain. So many players were committed inside the penalty box. They got to go chasing after this yet again, Singapore. Myanmar sends the opportunity for the counter-attack. Just petered out. The whole impetus of it gone after they held the ball on for too long. Chilin has found space. Chilin. Angle was always acute. The pitch took a little bubble before he pulled the trigger. And Singapore, in a win or bust match, have won. Saiful Issa got them going with a free kick which eluded everyone inside the penalty box for goal number 1 after 15 minutes. And then Haris Haron came to the fore. Double H on the double. 2 exquisite volleys to put Singapore 3-0 up at halftime. They came out to the second half, weren't compact or organized enough, and Myanmar took full advantage of it. The space of 15 minutes, they clawed themselves back to 2-3 after goals from Ong Cha Zayawin. Myanmar's first goal after 352 minutes of football action in the Suzuki Cup, and then a penalty by Cho Ko Ko gave them a glimmer of hope, which was dashed 15 minutes from the end of time when Chin Mong Luin diverted Saiful Issa's free kick into the back of his own net. Thailand through, of course, from Group B already to the semi-finals. Singapore almost there. They sit in second spot on 3 points ahead of Myanmar and Malaysia, who both got a point each after the Lions win this one against the White Angels by 4 goals to 2.